When will we learn that it's not okay to debut minors in K-pop? Have you guys heard about the case surrounding Madein's Gaeun, who on November 22, 2024 alleged that her CEO started assaulting her right after her debut? Welcome and welcome back to my channel. This is Chronic Seed, and before we proceed, I just want to make it clear that everything I say is alleged. As of now, these are all speculations. However, at the end of this, regardless of what happens, I want to emphasize that South Korea is very intentional in how they define assault. This makes it easier for abusers to escape justice or receive very light, lenient sentences. So even if the CEO involved in this case receives a not guilty verdict, I stand with Gaeun, I stand with the victim. Who is Gaeun? She was originally introduced as a member of a group called Limelight, which had its pre-debut and mini-album release on September 29, 2022. Their self-titled mini-album, Limelight, featured dual title tracks, Eye to Eye and Starlight. The group officially debuted on February 17, 2023, with another EP titled Love and Happiness and its title track Honestly. Their debut was relatively successful, selling about 35,000 copies of the album, a significant accomplishment for a newly debuted group. The original lineup of Limelight consisted of 3 members, Mew, Suhai, and Gaeun. In July 2024, the group essentially rebranded as Madein. 2 members from Produce 101 Japan, Serena and Nagomi, were added to the group, along with 2 members from the project group kpop, Mashiro and Yesia. Madein had an infamous debut with the title track Uno, which gained widespread notoriety and criticism for using AI in its production, something deeply frowned upon by fans of authentic artistry. On November 10, Gaeun deleted all the posts on her Instagram and unfollowed both her CEO and her agency, 143 Entertainment. At first, fans speculated that her account had been hacked, as a similar incident had occurred during her Limelight days. However, on November 11, after the fandom pressured the label for an explanation, it was confirmed that Gaeun was taking a break due to health issues, and the group would continue as a 6-member unit. Fans found this explanation suspicious since there seemed to be no reason for her to delete all her posts related to the group or unfollow both her label and CEO. Concerns grew that she would not return, and it appears they were right. 10 days later, on November 22, JTBC released a video about a 5th-generation idol who alleged abuse at the hands of her CEO. Although the idol's identity was distorted for anonymity to protect her image, speculation immediately pointed to Gaeun of Madein. This suspicion was further fueled by the fact that the article used a picture of the group performing, taken from a video where the background clearly matched. The fans' speculation was quickly confirmed when 143 Entertainment released an official response denying all accusations made in the video. However, they admitted that the accusations were related to the CEO. They also claimed that the accusations were being made by people connected to Gaeun, not by her directly, and that these people did not know the full story, whatever that means. The company went on to include an unusual detail, stating that the people telling Gaeun's story didn't understand why the CEO had given his friends the hotel number where the girls were staying. This was strange because neither the articles nor the leaked voice note from the interview mentioned anything about a hotel. It feels like a classic case of over-explaining, adding unnecessary details that no one brought up, which often happens when someone is lying. Everything I translate from this article will be done using Google Translate, so some things might be inaccurate because I don't speak Korean. According to the article, the abuse allegedly started immediately after her debut. Also interesting is that, as you can see on the screen, though I don't know if the source is accurate, it clearly says that she cannot file under the Child and Youth Protection Act in Korea because she was already 18 when the alleged incident took place. This is absurd. Why are people trying to bring up technicalities about which laws apply or don't apply to her? Even though she was considered 18 in 2023, I'm pretty sure everyone would agree that it doesn't matter whether the law states a person must be under 18 to qualify for protection under the Child Protection Act. According to the article, she made a mistake by bringing her boyfriend to the dorm after a performance on October 5, which led to her CEO getting mad at her and ridiculing her for the mistake. Then, on October 26, the CEO allegedly asked her to be his daily girlfriend, essentially his girlfriend for one day if she wanted to leave the group. She agreed because she didn't see any reason why she couldn't just go to the movies and get coffee with him, which was what they had agreed to do. But I find this suspicious because it probably means that this happens far more often than not. Female idols may have to perform for him in many ways to get what they want. For instance, her parents reportedly said something like, "You want her to go to the movies with you and be your day girlfriend, don't you go to the movies with a lot of female idols?" In my opinion, the only way he would have that much power over a female idol is if she worked for him. It would be much harder for him to ask this of an idol from a different company unless he's paying them. So him casually making this request suggests that this is something he does constantly. As I said before, this is probably part of the company's toxic culture. Trigger warning, details of assault. The article alleges that the CEO then locked the door to his office and assaulted her. Later, when they went to the movies, he reportedly started forcibly kissing her and touching her throughout the movie. When she tried to protect herself by covering her sensitive areas, he allegedly told her to move this out of the way, which I assume meant her hands, and continued touching her. He allegedly asked, "Can I touch your chest or your bottom?" which I think means her butt, and even though she said no, he didn't stop. He continued for 2 hours. As I mentioned earlier, the agency released a response denying all the accusations. However, Gaeun reportedly had video evidence of herself in a car with the CEO, allegedly on the day the incident occurred. Despite this, the label claimed the video showed nothing unusual and argued that there was no proof of the CEO asking for any inappropriate favors. This reasoning is absurd because she couldn't have known ahead of time to record evidence. The agency also insisted that any contact between the CEO and her was because he was trying to console her since she was frustrated about wanting to leave the group. This response from the agency is dismissive and troubling. Claiming the assault was merely an act of consolation is classic gaslighting and part of why survivors often hesitate to come forward. However, the girl's parents insisted that what the CEO did was assault. At first, he denied it and insisted that he hadn't done anything wrong, but he eventually admitted to what he was being accused of. Her parents tried to defend her by saying that it wasn't a mistake and that what the CEO did was intentional. This is exactly the case. If you watch any of my other videos, it always comes to the same conclusion. You don't make mistakes like this. It's intentional if you're choosing to put someone through something like that, especially since this isn't the first time members of the group have complained about him being creepy. The girl's parents were trying to protect everyone in the group by requesting that he step down as CEO. Another member, Mew, also complained that he kept confessing his feelings for her, which is ridiculous because it's not a funny joke.
고백 많이 안 했으면 좋겠어요.
고백? 고백? 잠깐! 무슨 고백을 하는데?
아, 미유짱 다이스키 알지? 이런 식으로 항상 해주시는데 좋아요, 좋은데 매일매일 하시니까 1년 한 번 정도로.
I don't understand why he even feels comfortable with the fact that the girls could potentially say these things out loud on camera, and yet the editing team does nothing about it. That's the kind of culture that is welcomed in their company. Every single time something like this happens, where people jokingly speak up about their creepy CEO, it's because the CEO is actually creepy. For some reason, we're still not learning from that. I don't care if it's a joke, it's not funny. I hate that fans keep waiting until it gets really bad before they start mobilizing. Before we even heard about Gaeun's story, Mew was already speaking out. After the confrontation between her parents and the CEO, he apologized and promised to step down. However, he didn't follow through, and he accompanied the girls on a group activity to Japan, which obviously broke the promise he made to them. Not only that, but on their flight to Japan, he sat next to her, and she reported shaking in fear throughout the flight. There was no reason for him to sit next to her after everything that happened unless he was trying to hurt her again, allegedly. According to her parents, this reignited her trauma, which affected her health. On November 10th, she decided to delete the group's name from her bio, unfollow the CEO, and unfollow the agency. Then, on November 11th, the CEO tried to cover everything up and lied, claiming that she was on a break due to health reasons. However, it's starting to seem like he kicked her out of the group to cover up his crimes, allegedly, and is now trying to spin it as her leaving to focus on her health. Fans suspected that eventually, this would be the conclusion they'd reach, even though behind the scenes, something heinous was clearly going on. The agency still maintains their stance that there was no wrong physical interaction, whatever that means. They claim that if he did touch her, it was only because he was consoling her for feeling like she had to quit. A lot of weird things have been happening with her account. For example, she liked the statement the company put out, which seems strange because she's the one accusing the CEO of something like this. Why would she like a post supporting the CEO? If you see anyone going around claiming that this is all fake and that she's okay with what's happening, just know they don't know what they are talking about. She most likely does not have access to her Instagram account. I don't speak Korean, so everything I got was from Google Translate. But what I'm getting from all of this is that she and the other members have been facing some type of abuse at the hands of the CEO, which started when she was a minor as young as 16. This specific incident originally began when she brought her boyfriend to the dorm, and the CEO got mad at her, claiming that she could have caused a serious issue by bringing him over. He then threatened to remove her from the group, which is why she started crying and asked him to let her continue until the group's contract was over. Google Translate suggests that she was the one who asked to leave the group, but it makes more sense that she was asking to stay in the group until the contracts were over. This is likely why he demanded she become his girlfriend in order to stay in the group, which is just ridiculous because she was a minor. The power imbalance alone and the age gap are disgusting. After this incident in October, Gaeun's parents and the other members' parents had a meeting and confronted the CEO. At first, he denied the accusations but later apologized. However, the parents were not willing to accept his apology and demanded that he resign. He agreed but claimed that, due to the shareholders, he couldn't disband the group. He said he would no longer be directly in charge but would still be associated with them in some capacity. Despite this, on October 27, he went to Japan with the group. The parents were surprised to see him there because he had already promised to step down. After seeing him at another group activity, Gaeun couldn't handle it anymore. This is probably why she removed the group's name from her bio and unfollowed the CEO and the agency. Then the CEO tried to cover it up by claiming she was on leave due to health issues. But it gets even sketchier than that because he called the other teammates and tried to pull a Girls' Generation and Jessica situation, telling them they had to vote that he was the victim and that Gaeun was lying. He told them to vote using X's and O's if they wanted to disband the group or stay together. The girls were obviously terrified. This wasn't planned, he caught them off guard. They used triangles instead because they had no idea what was going on. This just shows more and more how he abuses his power. The members should never have had to vote on another member, nor should they have had to vote on whether to continue as a group. These girls wanted to be idols for a reason. Not only that, but he even threatened to make them pay a significant amount of money if they wanted to disband. He wanted to place the debt on them, so how could they make a clear choice, especially when he has also been inappropriate with other members like Mew and Yesia? Does he actually think they would be on his side? This is a pattern for him, not just with Gaeun but with the other members as well. This is disgusting, and I know this might never gain the attention it needs to get these girls away from him. People always talk about abandoning the group or helping someone leave the group, but we need to start getting CEOs out of these positions of power that they abuse. These girls don't deserve to lose their careers or their dreams. They shouldn't have to leave the group. Instead, we need to make sure these CEOs lose their privileges. They shouldn't just debut another group and continue this cycle of abuse. He needs to lose his position as a CEO. I can just imagine this turning into Sami Dia 2.0. If you guys don't know what happened to her, meet Dia Samai. She accused her former CEO of assaulting her, and he got away with it because they were previously in a relationship and had broken up. She is now being framed as a jealous ex trying to ruin his life, which is disgusting because she was 17 years old when she debuted. This means that he had known her for much longer than that. The power imbalance alone should have been enough evidence. But the reason the CEO got away with it is because, when she left the building, a CCTV camera showed her walking normally, not like someone who had been assaulted. What does that even mean? She lost an assault case because she was too composed, after being raped. What the hell? She was actually sentenced to prison. Yeah, you heard that right, she was sentenced to 1 year and 6 months. So that means, as of right now, watching this video, she is in prison for reporting her abusive CEO. This makes me so sad because I have been a fan of them since 2022. I was up in the middle of the night when I came out, and Starlight was my favorite, even though it seems like no one knows that song. It honestly made me a fan of the group. Seeing her having to endure something like this at such a young age is just disgusting. It makes me so sad because this is obviously someone who has brought me so much peace and joy. I genuinely liked these girls. I genuinely wanted them to succeed, especially Gaeun. She was my favorite member, so this is very difficult for me. Like my thumbnail or title says, this is something we, for some reason, refuse to learn from. This is the same story as DIA and DE, VAA group full of minors that hasn't even debuted yet. Honestly, I'm tired. And honestly, I hate that people like this will keep getting away with what they've done. I don't even know how to end this video. I'm just so sad for her and the members who are still in the group. People are already starting a call to action with the hashtags Stand with Madein, Stand with Gaeun, and Boycott 143 Entertainment. This also includes ikon until they address and review the truth about what's going on. No one should be supporting the group. I have taken all their songs out of my playlist until we get a satisfying resolution. As someone who has supported Gaeun and her group since their limelight days, this situation is heartbreaking. Gaeun was my favorite member, and it's devastating to see her endure this at such a young age. We've seen similar stories before, and it's exhausting that these situations keep happening. I stand with Gaeun, and I hope she finds peace and justice. Thank you for watching. If you want to support Gaeun, join the call to action. Use the hashtags, spread awareness, and demand accountability. If you've made it this far, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates. Justice for Gaeunja and justice for Samai.